Well, I'm Stuart Nelson, Chief Veterinarian of the Iditarod Sled Dog Race. This will be my 14th race as the Chief Veterinarian, 9 years as a volunteer veterinarian prior to that. Of course, my primary job is to select and prepare the veterinary staff to go out on the trail to do the exams at the dogs at the checkpoints. But our program is quite encompassing. We start our we call EKG blood testing program a month before the race, where every dog to be eligible to participate in the race has to have an EKG and also some basic blood work, CBC chemistry panel. So they go through quite an extensive protocol. We have to have a physical pre-race physical exam by a veterinarian. As they get into the trail on the race, we have our routine evaluations that we do at the checkpoints. Roughly, I have about 40 trail veterinarians. It can vary from year to year depending on how large the mushing field is. This year I anticipate having about 40 out there on the trail to examine the dogs. And of course they can't all come up for the whole race, but I make sure that we have good coverage throughout the race period, which is generally, of course, our pre-race veterinary exams that are done by the Iditarod veterinary staff can be done on the 5th of March this year, or I'm sorry, the 4th of March. And then we do that at the Iditarod Trail, of course, committee. But then many of the dogs have their pre-race physical exams by their own kennel veterinarians. Once they go out on the trail, of course we have our evaluations. We use the acronym HAWL, H-A-W-L. H is heart and heart rate and hydration. A is for appetite, attitude. W is weight, body weight, and L for lungs. So we're assessing those at the checkpoints primarily. And of course it's a lot of my work is done with the mushers to try to give them the latest and greatest information that we have as far as veterinary care. And I try to bring the mushers and the veterinarians up to a comparable level of knowledge so that we're all looking for the same signs of abnormalities potentially, catching things that are early in their development before they can progress to more serious conditions. And so there's a communication that occurs between the veterinarians and the mushers at the checkpoints. And one of the things that Iditarod requires is that every musher carry what we call the dog team diary or vet book. And that's just a documentation of all the physical exams that are done by the veterinarians at the checkpoints. So it's a written communication between the mushers and veterinarians. So, you know, it's a very lengthy, elaborate protocol, but in a nutshell, that hits some of the high spots. Of course, we're very proactive in research. Mike Davis from Oklahoma State University is right now doing a study here at the kennel, but we typically have at least one, maybe two research studies every year in conjunction with the race itself to learn more about what makes these dogs tick, medical conditions that might affect them on the trail, trying to be proactive and learning as much as we possibly can and putting that knowledge out to the mushers and the veterinarians as they prepare for the next race. So every year is a learning experience. We try to build on it, make things bigger and better. And you know, I think we've come a long way, but obviously we're striving for perfection. So that might never be attained, but we do the best we can.